Welcome everyone to our first Giannis International podcast. Today we have a special guest, Mania, and we are gonna talk about her journey creating an UGC agency and the unique view because she has Iranian, German, and Spanish roots. So welcome, Mania. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing?
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. I'm really great. How are you?
Fine, thank you. It's a special situation because we went here for another event, a run event of one of our clients, and we are both now in Barcelona, so it's a little bit improvised, but it's so nice that we could organize the episode with you.
Absolutely. I'm super excited for this.
So for the first block, from idea to business, we are going to learn about how you started in this field. So how did the idea of creating your own agency first come to you?
So funny enough, 10 years ago, roughly 10 years ago, when I was writing my master dissertation, I studied media management, and the topic of my master dissertation was whether vloggers are a threat to beauty and fashion magazines. Back then, the term influencer or UGC creator didn't exist. And so back then, there was maybe 2 agencies in Germany, which I was interviewing, and there was not much data. So I did my first internship at a YouTube channel, and I was analyzing the data. And now fast forward, obviously now we know influencers are an essential channel or an essential part of every social media strategy. Absolutely. You know that best. And UGC is, depending on the geo, is already an essential part as well, or up and coming. So, yeah, it's very funny because the loop has closed. But in between, I was working in London for the past decade for international tech companies and sales. And the idea actually came along when I met my friend and co-founder, Sophie. And she has been working a lot with UGC creators. And yeah, as mentioned, I worked a lot with different brands. And one day we realized that we have everything it takes to start an agency. She has the network on the creator side. I have the network on the brand side. And we are both really creative minds as well.
Yeah.
And
it's such a beautiful combination.
Amazing,
to make the business work.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. And another coincidence is that we are working in the same field.
Yes.
You're with the UGC part, and we are with the influencer marketing. So that's why we decided to start this podcast, because you can know the difference between both type of creators and know a little bit more about the part from the inside. So what was the hardest part in the beginning, and what kept you going? Because you talk about the difficult to extract data.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think the hardest part was we are still establishing ourselves as a newcomer, as a new agency.
Yeah.
It's really about trust, right? And so most of my contacts are big brands, but that naturally is not where you would start. You would start with smaller brands when you establish yourself. So it was really about winning the trust, proving that we are delivering high quality content that does convert. That was definitely challenging, but you learn as you go, and it's been exciting as well.
Wow. And did you have any role model, or did you build everything on your own?
Not really, because it is still quite a new field, and we had a very clear vision. We knew that we wanted to deliver high quality. We wanted to deliver creative content, but also, very important for us, we wanted to make sure that the prices that we pay the creators are fair. So that was our vision, and we just went with that. And it's a lot trial and error and learn as you go. But I think that's what being an entrepreneur is about as well. So it's good.
And it's so important, the part where you trust that your business is going to work, because most of the companies fail in the first 2 years. So you have that in mind. Otherwise, your behavior, it's going to follow a wrong way. So, yeah. And what were the first steps that you took to get the project off the ground?
Yeah. So when we realized that we have that skill set and the contacts, it just felt right. So we started to work. It's funny, we were in Argentina and we went on a road trip, and Sophie was on the passenger seat in the car, and she had a laptop in her lap, and we were driving through nature. And I think generally, like, being in nature really helps with being creative. So we were driving through the beautiful mountains and just brainstorming and coming up with a strategy. And within 48 hours, we had a good skeleton, like we had the structure. We got in touch with our website developer and got the project started.
Wow.
Yeah. As soon as we had the website in place, I started with the outreach, and Sophie started getting in touch with her contacts. So, and then, the rest is history. As soon as we had the first.
Yeah, so did you delegate some parts like paperwork? How long did it take? Because some people don't want to professionalize their skills as a freelancer or entrepreneur, because they're very scared about how much do you pay when setting up the business, or how long or mentally it's burning you, because it's something that they don't teach us at the university, so we don't know how to start.
Yeah,
it's overwhelming.
You're right. I think, well, one thing that really helped was that we were 100% sure that we want to do this, and we had no doubt that we will succeed. Also, we knew that we are a good team and that we complement each other very well. Thankfully, Sophie had run businesses in the past. So when it comes to the setup, she already knew what to do, and that was of tremendous help for sure. So that part, I'm very glad that she already had experience in,
And you were very clear about which parts are going to be handled by every one of you, or?
Absolutely, because the business is basically split. I handle the brand partnerships, and she handles the creator partnerships. And then when it comes to, because many clients come to us and they don't have a clear vision. So when it comes to the creative concepts, we do that together. I, in the past, have worked in a production company. So I have been writing advertising spot ideas. And Sophie obviously has been working with creators, and she's been working on creative scripts. So it's great. We both bring that creative talent, and we work really well in that aspect. But when it comes to which part of the business we handle, it's very clear that she's on the creator side and I'm on the brand side. So that helps. Yeah,
that's perfect. So what has been your biggest learning as a founder so far?
Okay, wait, let me read
So
this.
How long have you been founder from now?
So it's been 6 months now. And
wow.
Fairly fresh still. I think the biggest learning was that you can't be a perfectionist all the time. Sometimes you just need to make quick decisions and just execute. And also, enthusiasm really is something that spreads over. So when you are excited about a vision and when you trust in something, the people that you work with will feel it, and it's really contagious. So, and I think both Sophie and I, we are really enthusiastic people, so that really helps, whether we speak to clients, to creators, to the team. So that's definitely something that's important, I think.
Yeah. So what's the name of your agency, so the audience can follow you on Instagram, TikTok?
Yes, we are UGC Creative Marketing Agency.
Okay. So we're going to the block 2. It's running an international business. So you clearly had the vision from the beginning that it's going to be international. Why did you decide that?
So my roots, as you mentioned at the start, are quite international. I grew up in Germany to an Iranian dad and to a German, Spanish mom. So I grew up within multiple cultures, and I have a good understanding of different cultures. I then moved to England to study there. Most of my professional experience has been in international companies in London, but serving the German market. So I've always been exposed to many different cultures, both personally and in my professional career. So it was a no-brainer, really. It came natural, also because my client contacts are in Germany, in England, and internationally. And Sophie has been working with creators from all over the world. So it was very natural, a very natural decision.
Yeah, and I think since you can work remotely, it's so easy to work with different markets, because you are maybe editing or sending emails or being in touch while you travel as digital nomad too. Yeah. So do you have one favorite country to work with, maybe?
Well, I think every country has its pros and cons. It depends. Especially, I would say I've been mainly working with the German market and been exposed to the English culture, so there's massive differences between the two.
But you have to pick one. So just one.
I would say, when it comes to business, I do enjoy working with the German market, because it is reliable. You know, also in terms of communication, you know what you get. So that makes things easy. But if you ask someone else, they might think that, if you ask someone from a different culture, they might say Germans are rude, because they might feel that
they're very clear when they say things.
Yes.
And they're very direct.
Yes. But if you haven't been exposed to the German culture, this might come across as rude. For instance, as someone from England, they might find it offensive.
That will be impossible, because they're trying to to say the things with nice words, and they're not saying it directly, you know?
Yes.
So it's like, I'm confused.
Yes.
Why didn't I get that job? Or why didn't you accept my proposal?
That for me, when I applied for jobs in England for the first time, I remember I put a lot of time preparing the pitch that I had to do for this company. They flew me in from Germany, and a very senior person in the company was interviewing me, and his wording was, "Can you quickly run me through the pitch?" And so I took it literal, and I quickly ran him through the pitch. And in Germany, when someone tells you that, my understanding was he's very senior, so I don't need to explain little details. I really, only pointed out the most important things, and I didn't get the job. And I asked them for feedback, and the feedback was that I didn't put enough time into explaining the pitch in detail. So that was a big cultural
But you told me not to do so.
Exactly. So that's when I learned, you don't take Brits literal, and I even sometimes now still struggle, because they will not tell you this is bad, you need to improve, you need to change this and that. They will say it in a very polite way. So that's the cultural differences. You need to learn with for instance, with the British politeness, you have to learn to read between the lines and understand the tone.
And you learn for the next time, so it's like So how do your German roots influence the way you manage and communicate your brand?
I think from the German culture, from my German roots, what I've taken is attention to detail, even though it took me a while to really, I was not always working with attention to detail, but now I finally got to a point where I am. I think also being reliable and efficiency, for sure. Nothing infuriates me more than when processes are not efficient, and this is the cliche, but I think it's a good thing to be efficient. So
But how do you handle, for example, perfectionism issues, because when you're a CEO, you want to control everything.
Yes.
Sometimes you have problems to delegate some tasks because maybe you're not surrounded with trustful people, or maybe it's the way we think as CEOs, and then you see that you can't grow if you have your mind in everything, because it's insane the amount of work that we could have in one day. So how do you handle with that?
It's a learning curve. I think I still struggle sometimes to delegate work because, as you said, I can be quite perfectionist, but you can't. Like, you need to delegate work, and I think the best you can do is communicate very clearly, so there's no room for interpretation. And obviously, at the same time, you need to give your team the space and freedom to add their own touch and be creative. But yeah, it's a learning process. But it's important to delegate work. Otherwise, you'll be working.
Yeah, it's
day
like
night.
raising kids. You have to teach them to be autonomous.
Yes, exactly.
While they're working. Yeah. Okay. So is working with brands or creators very different depending on the country?
Absolutely. I think, so when we look at the US and the UK market, for instance, they are more risk aversive, I would say, with any sorts of trends, they are more progressive, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are a couple of years ahead of the rest of the European market. And when we look at Germany, for instance, Germans love data. So the way to win an argument in Germany is when you bring data research. So we always try to have as much like audience insights and case studies at hand, which at the start it is a challenge, right? Because you don't have the case studies yet, at least not your own ones. But with time, the more data you have, the easier it is to win clients. And yeah, it just takes time. But the good thing is you can always use examples from the other countries.
Okay, are you using some kind of software to get the data, or you do it manually, you track it, or you calculate it with the...
It depends.
formulas?
It's research that we find online, but it's also when clients choose to share their campaign insights, then we always try to encourage them to share the insights so we can build case studies, which obviously is great exposure for the brand because they can publish it and show that they're forward-thinking and that they try new formats. But it's also great for us because we can then use these case studies to approach other brands.
Yeah, okay. So what challenges come with managing teams or campaigns across different languages or time zones?
Yeah, I think obviously the time zones you need to coordinate really well. There needs to be flexibility on all ends. Obviously, it's easier when everyone is in the same time zone.
Absolutely.
But I think as long as people are flexible and communicate well, it is absolutely possible. And it comes with a lot of freedom because if someone does want to spend the winter, let's say, somewhere tropical, then they can.
Yeah.
Right? We don't believe in being in one country, having to come to the office 5 days a week or 4 days a week, being bound to one geo. We believe that when people are happy, they're
more productive.
Yeah, they're more productive and they will bring their best, work attitude as well. And so both Sophie and I, we never understood why when you work internationally and also when you work digitally, why you need to come into an office. So we, as you said, we are digital nomads and we it works for us. So we think it's a great way of working and living.
Okay, and how could you, for example, if in the future you're managing a team, let them know that it's flexibility, it's very nice, but they have to be responsible at the same time. So where's the line? Where's the limits?
Yes, I mean, I think there needs to be... So first of all, it's all about trust, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's fairly clear whether someone does or does not work. And when a relationship is built on trust and then the other person misuses that trust, that's obviously not okay. And then our ways need to part. But we believe that when we give our employees the trust, or our team the trust and the freedom, and making them feel part of the family, part of this, great community that we are building, both with our brands, both with our creators and our team, then we trust in our employees to bring that right working attitude in. But obviously, if we see that this is, or if at some point that trust is misused, and as I said, like you obviously see if people don't work, then it goes without saying that we need to replace them.
And what about the creator side? For example, if they're digital nomads too, and they're moving from one country to another, and you're developing a campaign, how do you handle that situation?
Yeah, so it depends. When it's products that obviously, if it's products that need to be sent out quickly, we need to take that into consideration. We need to know where the creators are, and if they are not within quick reach, then unfortunately they can't be considered for the campaigns. But we have a really big creator network, so it is not really a problem. And because the turnaround times, our turnaround time is between 2 and 3 weeks, which is fairly quick. We need to make sure that when it's physical products, they need to be in reach. Since we're working internationally as well, it is of advantage too if the creators are, let's say, in the States. If we have an American product, then we have our creators there.
Yeah, okay.
And, sometimes it is great for brands as well if we have long-term collaborations, and it's a product, if the creator then can take the product and showcase it in different countries and different environments, that brings a certain, nice touch to the campaign as well, so it can be very beneficial.
Yeah. So, and then with the block 3, the world of UGC. So for those who are new, UGC is user-generated content. We're going to talk about the UGC industry, its trends, and day-to-day work. How would you explain what UGC is and why it's so powerful for brands nowadays?
Yeah, so UGC is content that is created by normal people, normal users. It's not a polished production, studio production. And the creators, they showcase a product or a brand. This can be in the format of a testimonial or an unboxing or a product demo. There's many different formats there. And the power of UGC is that it's really authentic. It is an honest review, and it is very native to the social media. So it needlessly blends into the feed, and that differentiates it from your usual studio production or like the classic ad. And we see way higher engagement rates in comparison to classic ads because the users can relate, and the content is really engaging.
Okay, and as UGC professional, when you're checking the reviews of a brand, how do you know if it was created, produced from a UGC professional content creator, or it's a consumer that it's publishing the photos, the review, or whatever?
As the user on social media, you mean?
Yeah, for example, if you're a client of Amazon and you're posting your own review, but there's no UGC agency behind that review, how do you make the difference between them?
So, obviously there is organic UGC as well, because many creators just, without being paid or without being gifted products, they write reviews or produce videos. But when it is UGC that is paid, it needs to be marked. So there needs to be...
you need to mark it. Legally, it's required.
A partnership label or and the hashtag.
The hashtag AD.
Yes, correct. Exactly. And when it's a paid ad, then normally there is like a CTA with a click out to the product. So it is marked as a paid ad as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know that some sellers, especially on Amazon, they give free products, but you're required to give 5 stars. I know that that's kind of illegal. So how do you handle this type of situations? Because then the consumers start not to trust the reviews, the UGC content creation. So it's like a difficult issue that you could find on the way.
That is it's a tricky situation, and ideally the creators. So when I was creating UGC myself in the past, I only worked with brands that I actually enjoyed working with. So I have a food blog, and I was creating UGC for cooking, any sort of whether it was products, cooking products, or supplements and things like that. But I only collaborated with brands that I actually, where I actually enjoyed the product, where I thought it was a great fit for my socials. But yes, you might find the odd UGC creator here and there that doesn't play these rules. So obviously you cannot always guarantee 100% authenticity in that sense. But yeah, we try to collect. We try to choose our creators. I mean, Sophie has a really close relationship with her creators, or with most of them, so she has a feeling for whether they are genuine and their style and the way they work. So we really make sure we choose creators that that are a good fit for the product as well.
Okay. We've been working with some brands that accept and are very open-minded, that if there's a problem with the quality of a product or the sizing, they can publish it and they can say it. So what happens if a product is not that good and they can't say, you cancel the partnership, you try to fix it in some ways, or...
If the creator doesn't like the product?
Yeah, exactly. If something happened while they were using it.
I mean, if the creator absolutely doesn't like the product, then...
It's better to cancel.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Rather than, we would never push them to make a false claim or, if there's... at the end of the day, this is about an honest review. So if there's small things that they don't like, but overall they like the product, then they can mention that, and it makes the review even more authentic, and that's the overall idea, right? But if the creator doesn't like the product at all, then we won't publish that content, because it doesn't benefit the brand.
And the brands you work with, for example, they accept that they have the freedom to speak about some things that they could improve, constructive critic, for example.
It depends on the brand, so we will have a feedback loop and obviously speak with them. At the end of the day, it's up to the brand whether they publish the content, because, in comparison to influencer marketing, where the influencers are basically the channel and the voice, and they publish the content on their socials. With UGC, the creators don't need a big following. In fact, they don't need any followers, because the content will be published by the brand either organically on their socials, or it will be used as a paid ad. So the brand gets the full rights, and it's up to the brand whether they would like to publish the content or not. So at the end of the day, there is feedback loops and there is amendments. If the brand doesn't like certain things, we will cut them out of the content.
Okay. Is it always organic content, or they're paying ads too?
Very often it's paid ads. Paid ads that look like organic content. So, I don't know, you obviously came across, but for the listeners, they might have come across, one of the latest formats is street interviews, where one person stops, people in the street and asks them if they've come across the product, if they've tried it, and then this way you get really authentic reactions from multiple people, which is even better than just from one person. But you might see, if you pay attention to your socials, you might see this coming up on your feed, and very often it's a paid ad, and then you can click through to the product.
Yeah. So do you notice any differences in how UGC is understood across countries or industries?
Yeah, I would say, again, in America and in the UK, it's already quite established, and the understanding is there that UGC should be that it is a very important part of a social media strategy. In the rest of Europe, there's still a lot of educational work that we're doing, and I guess especially bigger brands, they might still think, oh, this is not, professional enough, but that's not the idea of UGC. It's not supposed to look like a polished, studio production. The whole idea and the whole power of it lies in its authenticity and in the fact that it looks like something that a creator has, created. So, yeah, we need to explain that still and explain exactly this, the power of UGC. So I think it will take a good 2 years still until UGC is fully established in Europe as well.
Okay, and what does the full process of working with a brand on UGC look like? From the briefing to the final delivery?
Yeah. So some brands come to us and they already have a very clear idea of what they want to do, what the script should look like. That's very rare, though. In most cases, the brands are very open to hearing our ideas. So the first step is to find out what the brand's goal is, what their target audience is, what is the focus. And then we will come up with some concepts and different formats. So we write the creative concept, and then if the brand likes the concept, then Sophie goes into finding the suiting creators. Some brands want to see the creators before we go into production. Some brands fully trust us from the start, and so then the creators they create the content. Once they've created the content, they send it over. Our editor edits the content, and then we send it over to the brand. And if the brand needs some amendments to be done, we do those. And when the content is ready to post, it's up to the brand to post it. In an ideal world, after the campaign, the brand shares the insights, and we get full exposure to how well the campaign, how well the campaign has
worked, the performance
of the... How well the campaign has performed. And then, we have a post-campaign call where we discuss what has worked, what hasn't worked. For instance, we deliver 3 different hooks with every format. Let's say we have an unboxing. So then we will give the brand 3 different videos with 3 different hooks. A hook is how the creator starts the sentence or the video. And so the brand then can A/B test the different hooks and can very quickly find out, okay, is it better to start a video like this or like that? And then they can exclude the versions that didn't perform well, and then in the future we will try to focus on the hooks or on the formats that have worked.
Is it easy to obtain the results of the campaign, because some brands are very picky?
Yeah, it always depends on the brand, of course, and some brands do not want to share those insights. So then, there's nothing we can do really.
Yeah, you can look at the stats if they publish some videos.
Yeah, we can look at the engagement. At least we can see how many people have liked, shared, commented on it, but not much more in that case.
Do they tell you how much money do they invest in each video, or that's something that you can't know? Because it depends also on what did you negotiate with the brand, how many euros are they going to invest in each video, for how long? Yeah. Is that very established in your contracts?
It's not established in the contract. Some brands ask us for advice. Some brands don't share that information. Some brands share it. It always depends. Obviously, the more transparency there is, the better it is for us as well to, help them with their strategy for future campaigns. But it depends on the brand.
Yeah, because I started working, because I'm content creator too, and I started working with UGC like 2 years ago, more or less, and I participated in a TikTok campaign for a dating app. And I didn't know, they didn't mention that it will be published on ads. And the video was seen by more than 30K people.
Wow.
And when I wrote them an email about the situation, because people thought I was in the app, inside the app, but I was promoting the app, giving tips how to create a better profile, like how to take the photos, what should you write in your bio, the description and everything. So how could I react to this situation in the future, or if that happens to a creator that is listening to us, because they didn't give me a solution.
Yes. So in our creator contracts, the creators sign all the rights over to the brand. So the brand has unlimited rights when it comes to the content. This is something that...
So they could use your image for 10 years if they want?
Yes. So the creators need to be aware of that, and in case this is an issue, they need to flag it. So I can always recommend, make sure that there is a contract in place, first of all, because I know that not all agencies work with contracts. And make sure if you are worried about this, discuss it with the agency. And then in some cases, this can be discussed as well. But like as a default, this is something that's in our contracts.
Yeah, I think that's the best way, because some creators, then they can get annoyed by this type of situation, and they could decide to stop working with you.
Yeah. So I think that's why it's really important to have a contract in place, and if there's any worries, discuss it beforehand. But yeah, when I was, especially in the past when I was creating content, very often I didn't receive a contract either, which, that's a bit tricky.
So I have one last question before we go to block 4, that was reflections and advice. Is it worthy, from your point of view, to use a celebrity as an UGC creator?
I mean, a celebrity at the end of the day, that would be an influencer, right?
Yeah.
I think, depending on what the brand goal is, but I think... depends on the brand size and what their goal is. But I think overall, it's helpful to work with both, with influencers and with UGC creators. With UGC creators, you can produce content at a really quick turnaround time, and you can produce a lot of content. So you can produce many videos at a fairly low cost in comparison to an influencer collaboration or classic ads. This enables you to do a lot of testing to understand what works for us. And once you've understood that, you can use that knowledge and then apply it to a collaboration with an influencer. But obviously, yes, I mean, it's still the celebrity effect is a thing, right? So you know best. It is definitely something that works really well. It's a good combination, I would say.
Yeah, because the one of the main barriers that we found when working with UGC or trying to work with UGC through celebrities was that they're very expensive because they're very known. And even if they're not going to publish on their social media, they're going to charge you maybe 5 up to 10 times more than an UGC creator that doesn't have followers.
Yes.
So your best advice will be pick the right one.
Pick the right one, and if it's someone who's known, ideally they should share the content on their channel as well, because at the end of the day, that gives you more exposure. So I would say that is quite crucial, right?
Okay, so for the block 4, we want to inspire listeners who want to start a business or work in UGC. So what do you wish more people knew about starting a digital business?
So I think, I've been in the digital space for all my career, but I have the impression that sometimes people think, especially with social media, it has, in the past, it wasn't something that was taken serious much. And I think many people, because they have social media accounts, they think, it's just a little bit of posting on your phone. But there's a lot of work and strategy that is necessary to be successful. It needs dedication and consistency as well. Yeah. So it really isn't that easy. And as much as a benefit it has to be, to be able to be remote and to work from your laptop, we do work long hours as well.
Even if we're posting a story at the beach, then we will go back to the office and we're working.
And you need to be someone who's okay working in a really fast-paced environment. You need to constantly be aware of new trends and really adaptable. So, it also takes a certain personality for this kind of job.
Okay. And what qualities do you think are essential to start an agency today?
Again, I think you need to be okay to work in a fast-paced environment, to quickly adapt. Also, in terms of structures, my first main job was in a startup company, and I think that really helped me because we had new product updates every 2 weeks, and my role was literally changing every couple of months, and I just had to do it, and I had to do multiple roles at times when there wasn't enough colleagues in certain fields. So I think working in an agency it can mean that you work more than 9 to 5, or sometimes less. It can mean that you need to be really flexible. I think that's the main thing.
Okay. And what's a mistake you've learned a lot from?
Okay, let me think.
Maybe the way you started your business, or when working with creators or brands that nowadays you would have said no. Like, for example, for me, one of my biggest mistakes was to start with Spanish companies, because they normally pay in 90 days, or they don't even pay you, or they don't have amount of budget to invest in influencer marketing. So I really regret to look for new clients inside the local environment. So now we're focused on Asia, for example, the United States, Canada.
Yeah, which is a learning curve, right?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, I feel like you can't really, obviously there's mistakes, but at the end of the day, you can't get everything right. That's one thing you just need to realize, that it is a learning process, especially when you haven't done this before, right? You don't have anyone to tell you how to do things right. And I feel like I think I mentioned this earlier, but like just being too perfectionist and like overthinking and trying to get everything 100% right, rather than doing that, it's about execution and about taking the risk as well, and seeing things as a learning curve and seeing things as an opportunity to improve rather than a mistake. Not moving on, not getting caught up with these things.
Wow. Okay, so and then closing and quick round. We're switching the roles, so you have to ask me before we leave.
Amazing. So, Patricia, what is one tool you couldn't work without?
Databases, because I need to have all the information in inside the documents. Because when I started my business, I was using iPhone notes. It was a disaster since we started growing.
Yeah.
Because I was, for the first year, I was working solo. And then another girl, Julia, joined us. Yeah. And then we are 20 nowadays. So imagine, with 20 people inside the team, with more than 100 partnerships per month, working with 10 countries, it's impossible to continue working and growing if you don't have databases, or if you don't use softwares that help you find creators all over the world. Yeah.
So so you would recommend getting structures into place early on?
Early on, yeah. Because when we switch to databases and softwares, it was a little bit too late. But when you need to expand your services, you have to do it 100%.
Yeah.
But we learn a lot from that.
What is a country you'd love to take your agency to?
Northern Europe. Yeah.
Northern Europe.
Yeah, because we started working with one decoration brand from there. I really loved that experience, but then the enterprise closed because it wasn't working too well. So yeah, maybe going back to these countries.
Are you actively approaching Northern Europe right now?
No, not yet, but we have to do so. Yeah, we're working on Europe, but Spain, France, Portugal, like South and Central.
Are those your main focus markets then?
Yeah, we're working nowadays. So okay. Yeah,
nice. Was there a business role model who inspired you?
Maybe the native creators, influencers that we have nowadays in the Spanish market. Yeah, I think they really inspire me because from the scratch they create a very big community, and the way they create content. Thank you very much for hearing us and to participate in this podcast, Mania.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.